Hey, what's going on? Fran Capitanelli here. Wanted to talk a little bit about this Rolling Stone Top 200 Singers list that just came out because, man, they're leaving off a lot of people. So at 199, we've got Danzig, which is cool. Danzig made the list, everyone. I think that's pretty cool. But if you're gonna have Danzig in there, what about Jim Morrison? I always kind of think of them as the same type of vocal stylings. Danzig's is just a more hard rock metal. He's more metal than Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison isn't metal at all, but they do that same kind of vocal inflections. Yeah. They have that same deep voice that's kind of like sucks you in. And I mean, all great singers, they don't have to be the most perfect pitch singers, but there's something about the emotion that they're putting out there that pulls you in. And Jim Morrison, he needs to be on this list. Fela Kuti at 188. I love Fela. I'm glad he made this list. And somebody at Rolling Stone is paying attention. At 186, Ofra Haza. That's cool. Israeli singer. She's great. But if you got her in there, you got to have Liz Fraser from the Cocteau Twins. Somebody needs to send some Cocteau Twins albums over to Rolling Stone because Liz Fraser is one of the best. If you want to check her out, listen to like Bluebell Knoll by the Cocteau Twins. She is highly esteemed. Alicia Keys at 185. That's cool. I love her voice. No Roberta Flack though. Let's see, Bob Seger's at 181. But there's no Don Henley on there. Come on, Don Henley should be on the list of the top 200 singers because he's just got that signature sound. Iggy Pop's in there. Chris Stapleton is at 170. But there's no Ronnie Van Zant. I think of Chris Stapleton as kind of like a descendant of Ronnie Van Zant. The whole music industry has been looking, for that kind of singer since Ronnie Van Zant died. And they kind of found it in Chris Stapleton, but you got to have Ronnie Van Zant in there. Debbie Harry's at 168. That's cool. But there's no Pat Benatar. Pat Benatar, she's got a killer voice. Check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction from this year. They're doing, I think, Heartbreaker, her and Neil Giraldo, and they destroy it. Ronnie James Dio at 165. Awesome. But no Klaus Meine from the Scorpions. He's got a pretty identifiable sound. Bono at 140. I think he should be higher because I think Bono's just got that golden voice. And if you're going to have Bono in there, what about Michael Hutchence? Michael Hutchence was one of the most charismatic singers ever. He's not in there. At 134, we've got Axl Rose. He should be higher. But if Axl's on there, where's Steven Tyler? No Steven Tyler? Woo! You gotta have that guy in there. He's got one of the most amazing rock voices of all time. 131 is Jeff Buckley. He should be way up there. Jeff Buckley's got one of the greatest voices. He is just superb. Should be not as high as Freddie Mercury, but they're kind of like in the same, they kind of have that operatic almost voice. Jeff Buckley, he should be a lot higher than that. So he's at 131. Courtney Love's at 130. Courtney Love's got a better voice, so she's a better singer than Jeff Buckley? I'm sorry, I disagree with that. And then right under Courtney Love, 129 is Rob Halford. I was glad to see that he was in there because I could see them leaving him off. But in the same breath, if you got Rob Halford in there, where's Bon Scott and Brian Johnson? Those are two amazing singers that have such distinct voices, and how they were able to go seamlessly from one singer to the next. Brian Johnson, everything he sings is like this guttural scream. I don't even know how he can still sing like that, but he can. And AC/DC's music has become so iconic. You hear it on like Disney movies. his voice has a lot to do with that. And Bon Scott's voice is even more signature than Brian Johnson is. Bon Scott's just got that menacing, demonic voice. Perfect for a song like Highway to Hell. Let's see, 126, Donny Hathaway. Love Donny Hathaway. But Sly Stone's not on the list. Sly Stone's one of the most soulful singers of all time. I know I'm saying that like about everybody, but it's because it's true. I mean, if you're in the top 200, you got to be one of the best. And I'm sorry, but Sly Stone is one of the best, and he should be on there. Joe Strummer at 125, I'm digging that. John Fogerty at 118. John Fogerty, he should be higher. So identifiable. Patti Smith at 117, right on, digging that. Ozzy's at 112. But there's no Dave Roth. No David Lee Roth? I know, he's not like known for his great pitch or whatever, but man, he's got a serious rock and roll voice, and just the scream alone should get him into the top 200. Roger Daltrey at 109, okay. 105, Eddie Vedder, cool. Where's Lane Staley? There's Chris Cornell's in there, and Kurt Cobain's in there, Eddie Vedder's in there. Lane Staley, he should be in there. But it's so weird to think like all those singers, Lane Staley, Chris Cornell, Kurt Cobain, Andy Wood, all from the Seattle scene, and they all passed away. It's kind of hard to believe. And since we're talking about Seattle, what about Ann Wilson from Heart? I mean, come on. That voice. Superb voice, killer vibrato. She needs to be on there. And if you're picking up what I'm throwing down, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Michael Jackson's at 86. He should be higher, the king of pop. Steve Perry, he's at 82. But no Brad Delp from Boston? The layers on that first Boston album, the vocal layers, are so intense. Look up Boston isolated vocal tracks or Brad Delp isolated vocal tracks on YouTube and pick any one, your jaw will drop. David Ruffin at 66, but no Daryl Hall. He's a great singer. Love Daryl Hall. Bjork's at 64. Bjork needs to be higher up there. When I say higher, closer to number one, you know? Robert Plant's at 63. I did not see Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes on there, and I think he deserves another look. He should be up there. George Michael's at 62. I kind of think George Michael should be higher than that. Kate Bush is at 60, but there's no Annie Lennox. Mick Jagger's at 52. But as far as English singers, we're missing Paul Rodgers, Steve Winwood, and Steve Marriott from Humble Pie. But, I mean, Paul Rodgers and Steve Winwood, everyone wanted Steve Winwood in their band back in the late 60s, early 70s, coming out of England. Everybody was trying to get him in their band. And Paul Rodgers, come on, man. He's the only guy that could replace Freddie Mercury and sing in his own style and get away with it. Got James Brown at 44. He should be higher than that. Curtis Mayfield's at 38. That's great. I'm glad they recognized him. Kurt Cobain at 36. That should be higher. I know it gets kind of dense at the top of the list, you know, between 1 and 25. You're like, got so many great singers that you could kind of mix and match them. So Bowie's at 32, McCartney's at 26, and John Lennon's at 12. Okay. Nina Simone is at 21. Thank God they didn't leave her off the list. Bob Dylan's at 15. Definitely deserves to be on the list, but not higher than Nina Simone. Freddie Mercury's at 14. I think he should be higher, definitely. But like I said, it gets pretty dense at the top. Otis Redding at number 9. Stevie Wonder at number 7. And then rounding out the top spots, got Beyonce at 8. She's great. She's not better than Nina Simone. Stevie Wonder at 7. Ray Charles at 6. Mariah Carey at 5. Billie Holiday at 4. Sam Cooke at 3. Whitney at number 2. And number 1 is Aretha. Can't mess with that. Some other ones that I think got left off. Terrence Trent D'Arby. That guy's got a cool voice. Michael McDonald, whatever people want to say about him, Michael McDonald's got a great voice. And there was that time where he was like on the radio every other song, whether it be with the Doobie Brothers or him as a session singer singing background vocals, or somebody pretending to sound like Michael McDonald, because it was an instant hit machine if you had that sound on there. HR from Bad Brains is the greatest punk rock singer. Something else. It's something to behold. Robin Zander from Cheap Trick. And last but not least, Pink, who I love. I was lucky enough to spend a couple months on tour with her, opening up with Butch Walker. And man, she slayed every night. She's got a very powerful and great voice. Go ahead and leave me a comment if there's anybody I'm forgetting that you think should be on this list and didn't make it. That's my take on it. Fran Capitanelli, totally into the sound. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time.